Hello, this is a short video for the magazine analysis. I'm going to try to replicate something that I do with my in-class students to help you while you're online. One of the things I like to do is help students understand how to analyze a magazine by giving them a comparison and contrast assignment. Doing so, we compare two similar magazines. This Old House and Old House Journal. These are my magazines because I am lame and I read about old houses. Yeah, it's fun. But what we can do is learn a lot about how a magazine targets a specific audience by pursuing a specific purpose. We can talk about intentionality. Every piece of media that's created, whether it's writing, magazines, pictures, advertisements, video, it's all about making choices to appeal to your readers through the rhetorical situation, which we've talked about a long, long time ago. But the idea is that these advertising creators, these magazine editors, made choices to speak to the audience to represent themselves, but also to get the audience what they want or to change how they feel about things. So as we look at these two covers, Old House Journal, I'm sorry, that's the Old House Journal, this Old House, they are similar magazines. They both have the words old and house in them. But as we start looking at them, we see, okay, they're both kitchen pictures, but there's a big difference. When we look at the covers give us a big clue because covers promise things to the readers. That's what the first thing we see, what entices us to open this magazine and devour the contents. What we see in this Old House is very pretty. It's a nice kitchen layout. We want to be there, but we see these bubbles and titles. So the promise is smart DIY ways to save up to $9,000. Very specific amount, not just almost 10,000. Best ever before and afters, 32 inspiring kitchens. Fun furniture makeovers, if that's your idea of fun. And easy to grow roses. So something for everyone that's a homeowner maybe. We can see that this kitchen is modern looking. You could walk into just about any house on the market. You could turn on HDTV and see a kitchen like this. It focuses on money and it's very up to date. Whereas we have Old House Journal, already the kitchen looks just different. You can look at this and say, okay, well, this is a weird layout. It's got this, we would call it a butler's pantry back here. Doorway, the transom, lots of things hanging, whereas this has got the wall nooks and things like that. This is very square and straightforward. It doesn't look particularly big, but it might be. I don't know. We have these keywords. First, we see the original restoration magazine, vintage kitchens, antique or new, revive bath fixtures, and strip painted hardware. So, and then we have this fun tool things, 5 multi-purpose saws. So we can see that everything is looking old, even though it might be new equipment. It looks old. Everything's vintage. There's tips on how to do things, how to lay tiles, not just DIY, reviving. It's just slightly different than this new and modern thing. You can go to Home Depot, Lowe's, and get everything here. Here, where are you going to get something like, I don't know, that light fixture, I guess, or this plate? I mean, it's high ceilings, all sorts of really cool stuff. We can look at these other two issues, we see fall color issue, brighten your home, 50 color makeovers under $100. All these numbers, 24, 13, 7. It's about like, reading Cosmopolitan when it's all those numbers for how to please your man and whatnot. It's very similar to that, and those numbers are appealing. Make a DIY, make a cabinet look like $1 million. Tricks, right? So a lot of things to get you interested in reading this. Here we just have beautiful exteriors. Grow, taste your fruit. Big ideas and big savings. So here's some money stuff, but that's about it. DIY, easy porch repairs, perfect moldings, and then mad about mid-century. So this is all about mid-century style houses, which I guess this is. Very different things. So try to pick out what your magazine is promising the readers. You can start looking at the table of contents. Most of these contents pages are going to organize things that's easy to find. So we have things like on the cover. We'll have these sections, idea files, upgrades, how-tos, ask this old house, because it's related to the TV show. That's this guy, he's on the TV show. Our reader remodel contest, so this is our feature article, so we have a good 20 pages of that. Money saving, and then home solutions. There's pictures, we look at these pictures, there's people in these pictures, there's families, people enjoying their houses. The topics are keywords: upgrading, building, getting this look, cheapskate, savings. Whereas we look at Old House Journal, we don't see many people, we just see the stuff, these empty rooms. We have topics on the features, we do have pages for our guide to things on the cover, but then in every issue, outside, inside, and working. A lot different than what this old house is giving us. So we have keywords like period and restoration. It's about correcting, being correct. Restore it right. There's architecture stuff, so they talk about prairie homes, rebirth of a kitchen. They have this thing on remodeling, which is again about correctness. So it's all these interesting ideas that are for people who probably value keeping the original intentionality of the house. We can look at letters from the editor. This is what the editor-in-chief does, is to set the tone of the issue. So on this side we have the editor, which is this bald guy right here. We see him interacting with people, so this one gives us a lot of advice about making over your house. He usually talks about some experience he might have had that's similar to things that readers can relate to. Over here we see the editor right here. She's in this very picturesque scene. I'm on my stairway drinking a cup of tea, at least I hope it's tea. And we have this kitchen vision, so it's a reminiscing story. It's very, I guess, old-timey in a way. Another thing that is going to help us understand who the audience of the magazine is are the ads. How are they telling us who is reading it? So here are just 4 quick ads that I pulled. There's going to be a lot of ads in your magazines. We have GMC trucks and cars, IKEA, paint, and then Crestor, a high cholesterol medicine. So that tells us that there's a wide variety. People, of course, are looking for things to put in their houses, products to use, to paint their walls, decorating stuff, but also cars and medicine, which tells us, it's maybe family people, older people, depending on who we're looking at. We go to the Old House Journal to look at their ads. We see their front cover ad is rejuvenation. This is a hardware, so lighting stuff, and they just make old things, and they're handcrafted. Then we have green building materials, slate products, an old-timey looking furniture, old-timey looking lights, so period style. It's called period arts. Then we have the product showcase. So various things that you'll need, from paint stripping to different types of furniture, antique looking stuff, and then a paint stripper here. So things that are all pertaining to restoring a house. There aren't any ads for cars or medicine and things like that. It's all very down to business. And that tells us something very specific about the magazine. We look at content. Here's 4 pages from this old house. See a family here, and it says she built a family-friendly porch swing. Tight-fisted heroes, and highlights how much people are saving. So stories, and we have reader tips. Save time and money. Speedy remodelers, weekend warriors who don't have a lot of time to work on their houses. So we can see they want you to do things, but do it easy, do it fast, do it cheap. Over here in Old House Journal, we have questions about restoration, period products. So here's things you can buy to make your house look old, I guess. Tool reviews. Repairing woodwork and removing added portions. So that's, again, correcting things that other people did. And fostering preservation is how do you, so these are stories about how we can keep people wanting to make their house look like it was originally built. So it tells you a lot just by looking at it. You can look at the length of articles, the type of language that is used. Those are going to be cues to what the reader values. As we scroll down, here's our feature articles, of course. Similar pictures, a lot of pictures. Here's a person in it. We don't see any people over here. That tells us something, right? We want you to live in and enjoy your house. Here's museum quality homes. So we can start asking questions. What do these magazines value? This old house is valuing remodeling, saving money, learning some basics, getting some basic maintenance. Whereas this Old House Journal is restoring and preserving. It looks for period style, tool reviews, how to do things, some very complex things compared to um, some of these basic skills. Products and services for restoration. So it's putting you in contact with people who specialize in period appropriate things, not just going down to the hardware store to buy something. And then stories. It definitely wants stories that are connecting to the history of the homes. So we look at the audience. Who is reading this? Well, this old house is definitely for homeowners, and same thing with Old House Journal. You got to own your home to work on it. But this old house seems to appeal to younger adults with kids, or even middle-aged people who've maybe grown up with this old house on the TV show. People who want to save money. They're on a limited budget, but they have expensive tastes. They want it to look good, but they have to find shortcuts and workarounds. And they want to meet specific taste and style. They might have different rooms with different tastes and different styles. So, they're okay with modern looks mixed in with older things. Whereas Old House Journal is looking at older adults who want to restore and preserve their home. They're well off, right? So they can afford to get the period appropriate things. They can afford to make sure that everything is right, that it's accurate, that each room reflects the period and style, down from the lighting to the flooring. To they have specialized heating registers that you can put in that look antique, and light switch plates, and all, even light switch and cords for your lights. All interesting stuff to make it look as it was originally built. So this tells us a lot about these two magazines just by looking at them. So when you do your analysis, you'll select maybe 3 to 5 copies of This Old House, or 3 to 5 copies of Old House Journal, or whatever magazine you're selecting. Go to your library to get one, and you want to look for themes, common themes. What are these keywords that are presented? What is the magazine promising? What does the magazine think the reader wants, and what choices do they make to give those things to the readers? So hopefully this short video helps you understand what we're trying to do in the magazine analysis. Please contact me when you have questions.